Hi, I'm Tay. And welcome to my vlog, I guess. Basically, I just wanted to film this because, I'm better at expressing myself through my words than like speaking through my words than writing, which is something I've tried to do, and I'm not very good at it. I mean, I'm a good writer, but expressing myself through my writing is hard for me. So I decided to make this um, vlog channel, a video vlog, I guess, yeah. And anyway, what I guess the first thing that, I've gone through a lot of changes recently. Um, you know, I was living with my brother, and that didn't really work out very well because we're two very different people and our personalities don't match well. And I just knew the expectations he had for me while I was living there under his roof were not expectations I could live up to, basically. So I moved out. I moved back in with my mother, who I haven't lived with since I was for for basically 2 years now. Um, there were circumstances there where I basically wanted nothing to do with her. You know, and because her, yeah. And so anyway, so I'm back living with my mother, which is really odd. Being 20, being almost 21, which is my birthday is actually a week from today, a week from now. You know, being almost 21 and having to and living back with your mother is a very odd experience. The last time I lived with her, I was a teenager, you know, so it's a big learning curve because I'm used to, before I was living with my brother, I had been living with my sister for a year and a half, and then, you know, I was switching between my brothers because I don't actually um, have a home. That sounds really odd. Um, but I was living, yeah, I was kind of living semi-independently, and just doing my own thing. And I have to move back in with my mum, and it's like I know, like she rings, every day. At the moment, you know, she's gone away for like 5 days, and she rings every day to check up on me to make sure that I'm all right, and I'm not used to that because I was living with my sister who just let who rarely ever we went a week once without really seeing or talking to each other. Um, and I got used to that. And it's like now, if I wanted to go out, night clubbing or whatever, she would ring or make me check in with her or something like that. Whereas when I was living with my sister, I mean, I was gone for 2 days. I mean, I was with a friend, and she basically didn't see me for 2 days because I'd gone out the night before and I didn't get back home until 7 in the morning, and and she was still asleep, and then so I went to sleep, and it's things like that that are hard getting used to. Um, and just, I'm not used to living with her very much. And we've had problems in the past. But I'm hoping that things get better. And if not, then I will have to find somewhere else to live yet again. Um, but I'm hoping I can stay here for a while, a couple of months maybe, not too long, because I do want to live not on my own, but not with one of my parents at least. Um, which brings me into being back with my mother. Brings me into what I really wanted to talk about, which was letting other people's views of you define you, which is something that as a teenager, I did quite a lot. Um, you know, I the way other people viewed me was very important to me, and it was more important than it really should have been. And part of that was growing up with my mother, who sort of, what's the word? You know, pushed that kind of thinking on me, like when you go out, you should always look presentable, and you don't want other people to like look down on you and things. And so, like, as a teenager, like, teenage girl, you take that to heart. And so I did that very often. But I also, I realized in these last 2 years that that's very damaging, in the way that we view ourselves and in the way that we view others. I have no right to look at someone and see the way they're dressed and then be in my own mind because I feel that I'm better than them, which is partially what it is, that you know that I can look down upon them just because of the way they're dressed or the things they like. For example, I'm a very big wrestling fan, and a lot of people think, that that's a really bogan or, a really like lower class kind of thing to like. And, they associate wrestling fans with certain ways of dressing and speaking and all of that kind of thing. And I mean, if you looked at me, I doubt you would, if you looked at me normally, like, I doubt you would ever pick up that I'm a wrestling fan, you know? And that's what I mean. You can't, I guess it goes back to the old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. Basically, you can't let what other people view you as be what you see yourself as, because that's not true. You can't define yourself for and by what other people expect of you. Like my mother, she, very much dress for, especially with clothing, because I'm not the skinniest person in the world. I've always been slightly overweight, I guess. And, in that sense, I've always tried to make myself look thinner, always tried to fit myself into, a normal size box that I'm not at, and I never have been. Um, you know, so it's like I realized that trying to do that, trying to put on a front for other people that I don't even care about, like people on the street, strangers, is not something I'm willing to do anymore. And I think more people need to start doing that. They need to start being themselves because, like I said, you can't live your life by the expectations of what other people see you as, and what you want other people to see you as, because that's not right either. So the last, for a long for the last 2 years, I've tried to be more myself. I've tried to get rid of the thinking that I should care, essentially, what strangers think of me, what other people think of me. And that goes for family as well. You know, like your family can be some of your harshest critics, your harshest judges, and you you need to learn to not always take into account what they're saying, because what they say and how they view you isn't always good, and a lot of times it can be um, with their own preconceived notions about how they view the world and about how they view people. And so, and that's not healthy. Living by other people um, view you, and by how you want to be viewed by other people at times, and living by other people's expectations of what they think you should be, what you should dress like, what you should like, is not healthy. And people need to start purging that kind of thing from their lives. A lot of people I've seen throw around the statement of being authentically you. And I'm not there yet. And I know I'm not. But that's what I'm working towards. And I think a lot more teenage girls, a lot more young women, and young men, people in general, need to start doing. You have to, people are never going to be happy. You are never going to be happy if you're always doing things by the notions of what other people see you as or what they want you as. That's not you then. That's you stylizing yourself for someone else. And no one should ever do that. So basically, all that long-windedness, what I'm saying is that you have to start being you. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned in the last few years. And now, being back with my mother, it's something I have to remember and to keep a hold of. Or else I'll fall back into that same pattern of worrying about what other people see me as, and not learning to be happy with myself, or not learning to finding my faults and wanting to better myself Instead, just living in this world of doing things and dressing and liking and speaking and acting the way someone else thinks I should. So, just remember, always, always try and be yourself. Bye.